My wife cut my brakes to keep my money, so when I woke up before her affair, I let the curse decide. On our wedding night, I told my wife that the women who betrayed a husband in my family never lived longer than 6 months. She laughed and called it an absurd superstition. 3 years later, she slept with a younger employee, refused to divorce me because I had helped build her company, and arranged for my car to lose control before I could claim my share. I died beneath a motorway bridge. Then I opened my eyes on the morning her affair began. This time, I did not warn her. I smiled, kissed her forehead and said, "Of course I trust you." Then I quietly prepared to inherit everything she had murdered me to keep. The warning she treated as a joke. My name is Adrian Cole. On the day I married Vanessa Reed, I told her the truth about my family. We were sitting alone inside the bridal suite of an old hotel outside London. The reception had finally ended. Our families had gone home. Vanessa had removed her shoes and was standing near the window, still wearing her wedding dress, while rain moved softly across the glass. She looked beautiful, not in the polished way she looked in company photographs. She looked exhausted, happy and real. For 7 years, she had been the center of my life. We met during our first year at university. Vanessa studied business management. I studied architecture and design. She was ambitious, disciplined, and incapable of accepting failure. I was quieter, patient, better at solving problems than explaining how I felt. Somehow, we worked. We survived examinations, internships, unstable jobs, and the long illness of Vanessa's mother. By the time we married, I believe there was nothing we could not survive together. That was why I told her, "Vanessa, there is something strange about my family." She glanced at me through the mirror. "If this is where you confess that every coalman becomes bald at 30, I have already accepted the risk. I'm serious." She turned. I explained what my parents had told me when I became old enough to understand marriage. 4 generations, the Cole family had carried a curse. It did not affect the men directly. It followed the women who married them. If a wife betrayed the marriage before legally ending it, she would develop a rapidly progressing illness. No treatment could stop it. No doctor could explain it, and she would not survive longer than 6 months. After the curse awakened, Vanessa stared at me. Then she laughed, not nervously, openly. "You waited until after the wedding to tell me this." I didn't believe it when I was younger either. "Adrian, it sounds like something invented by a jealous ancestor who wanted to frighten his wife." That is what I thought. And now, my grandmother's sister died after having an affair. So did my great-uncle's first wife. People become ill every day. The pattern was always the same. Vanessa stepped toward me and placed her arms around my neck. "Then you have nothing to worry about." "Why?" "Because I love you." She kissed me. "I'm never going to betray you." I wanted to believe love made the warning unnecessary. So I did. There was one important detail I also told her that night. The curse was not triggered by falling in love with someone else. It was not triggered by unhappiness. It was not triggered by divorce. A woman remained completely safe if she ended the marriage before beginning another relationship. The curse did not punish leaving. It punished deception. Vanessa smiled. "I will remember that if a handsome billionaire appears, you find billionaires attractive. I find private islands attractive." We laughed. Then we forgot the conversation. At least, I thought she had forgotten. The company I helped save. Vanessa was raised by her mother, Margaret Reed. Her father disappeared when she was young and never returned. Margaret built Reed Atelier, a respected interior design company, from a rented office and 3 employees. She was difficult, demanding and brilliant. She also loved Vanessa with every piece of herself. When Margaret suffered a cerebral hemorrhage, Vanessa was suddenly responsible for a company she had never expected to inherit so soon. There were unfinished contracts, unpaid suppliers, managers threatening to leave, clients preparing lawsuits. The company was weeks away from collapse. Vanessa was 27. Her mother was gone. Every morning, she entered the office pretending she knew what to do. Every night, she returned home, locked herself inside the bathroom and cried where she thought I could not hear. My father had given me money to establish my own design practice. I used almost all of it to stabilize Reed Atelier. I invested £500,000. I designed 3 major commercial projects without taking a salary. I persuaded former clients to return. I spent months traveling between construction sites, negotiating with suppliers and convincing talented employees not to resign. Vanessa and I rebuilt the company together. Also, I believed. Within 2 years, Reed Atelier became profitable again. Its name returned to architectural magazines. We expanded into hotel, restaurant and luxury, residential design. Vanessa became the public face of the company. I remained behind the scenes. I did not mind. It had been her mother's business. I loved Vanessa. Helping her succeed felt like building our future. Then Damien Shaw entered the company. He was 26, attractive in the polished, harmless way that made people underestimate him. Soft voice, carefully styled hair, expensive clothes he could not have purchased on an intern's salary. Damien was introduced as the younger brother of Vanessa's closest friend, Serena Shaw. Serena and Vanessa had known each other since university. When Serena asked Vanessa to give Damien professional experience, Vanessa agreed immediately. At first, I noticed nothing unusual. Vanessa mentored young employees regularly. She said Damien was inexperienced but eager to learn. Then she began mentioning him at home. Damien had a natural eye for color. Damien understood clients surprisingly well. Damien had suffered because people judged him for being attractive. Damien needed encouragement. Damien reminded her of herself when she was younger. His name entered our marriage one harmless sentence at a time. The first time a question there. Closeness. Vanessa became furious. She stood in our kitchen with her phone clenched in one hand. Can you stop listening to office gossip? I'm not accusing you. You clearly are. I asked why Damien travels with you on every business trip. He works in client relations. He joined the company 3 months ago. And how is he supposed to learn if I exclude him? He also sends you messages after midnight. He's Serena's brother. Vanessa's voice sharpened. I'm helping him because she asked me to. Serena has other relatives. Do all of them need private dinners with you? Her eyes became cold. There it is. What? You don't trust me? I remembered our wedding night. Vanessa, I told you that my family. Do not begin with that ridiculous curse again. I am asking you to be careful. No, she pointed toward me. You are trying to frighten me because you are insecure. I'm trying to protect our marriage. You're threatening me with illness because another man speaks to me. That isn't what I said. It is exactly what you said. She left the house. We did not speak for 2 days. I should have noticed how easily concern became an insult whenever it threatened something she wanted. Instead, I apologized. I told myself I had handled the conversation badly. For several months, I visited Reed Atelier frequently. Vanessa's behavior improved. She came home on time, included me in meetings, stopped hiding her phone. Our relationship began feeling like it had during university. I believed I had protected our marriage. Then one evening, after meeting a client, I saw Vanessa and Damien leaving a restaurant together. They entered Vanessa's car. I followed at a distance not because I planned to spy on them, but because their direction made no sense. Vanessa had told me she was meeting investors in central London. Instead, she drove Damien to a private apartment complex near Canary Wharf. They entered together. An hour passed, then another. I called her. Where are you? Vanessa answered immediately. I'm still with the investors. I stared at the building entrance. Which investors? The Birmingham Group. You're drinking with them? Yes. It may be late. My chest felt hollow. Vanessa, I watched you enter Damien's building. Silence. Then her voice changed. Not ashamed, angry. Were you following me? No. I saw you leave the restaurant. You had no right to follow me. I didn't follow you into the building. He drank too much. I brought him home. You have been inside for 2 hours. He was sick. Then why did you lie? The line went silent. I ended the call. Vanessa returned home 30 minutes later. She entered with righteous anger already prepared. Nothing happened. You lied about where you were. Because I knew you would overreact. You remained inside his apartment for 2 hours. He made coffee to thank me. At midnight. You're being unreasonable. I watched the woman I had loved for a decade defend a lie as though my discovery were the greater betrayal. The curse is real, I said quietly. Vanessa slammed her bag onto the table. Stop cursing me. I'm giving you one final warning. There is nothing to warn me about. Then show me your messages with Damien. Her face changed. Only for a second. It was enough. I had not wanted to become a husband demanding access to his wife's phone. I had not wanted to investigate someone I trusted. But trust could not survive when every question received anger instead of an answer. Vanessa, I said, I want a divorce. She laughed. The sound was sharp and disbelieving. You're threatening me now. I'm not threatening you. You think saying divorce will frighten me into begging? No. I looked directly at her. I am ending the marriage. Her expression became colder. Fine. Then she smiled. But you will leave with nothing. That isn't how this works. Reed Atelier belonged to my mother. I invested £500,000. That was a gift. It was documented as an investment. You also worked here because you were my husband. I designed projects that produced millions in revenue. Vanessa stepped closer. You will not take my mother's company. I'm not asking for the entire company. You're asking for part of it. I'm asking for what I legally contributed. The divorce conversation ended without agreement. I contacted a solicitor. I hired an investigator to document the affair. I was prepared to leave with less than I deserved, simply to leave alive. I never reached the solicitor's second meeting. 3 days later, while driving across an elevated motorway, my brakes stopped responding. I pressed the pedal again. Nothing. The car accelerated down the slope. Traffic appeared ahead. I turned the wheel to avoid another vehicle. The barrier shattered. For a few seconds, there was no road beneath me. Only sky, then darkness. What I learned after I died. Death did not take me immediately. I remained near Vanessa. I do not know whether I was a ghost, a memory, or something trapped between leaving and staying. I could see her. She could not see me. At first, Vanessa performed grief perfectly. She cried at the funeral, held my mother's hands, told our friends that losing me had destroyed her. 2 weeks later, Damien moved into our house. One night, I watched them drinking wine in the kitchen where I had asked for a divorce. Damien smiled. You were right. The police accepted the accident. Vanessa's hand tightened around her glass. Stop talking about it. You told me the mechanic left no evidence. He didn't. My death had not been an accident. Vanessa arranged for my brakes to be sabotaged. Not because she feared losing me. Because she feared losing part of Reed Atelier. Damien kissed her shoulder. Now the company stays yours. Vanessa closed her eyes. And eventually ours. That was when I understood the full cruelty. I had saved her mother's company. Vanessa killed me to prevent me from receiving even a fair portion of what I had built. Before my consciousness disappeared, I saw something else. Serena entered Damien's apartment late one evening. She did not behave like a sister. The way she touched him was intimate, possessive. Damien had been deceiving Vanessa too. The man for whom she murdered me was using her. I disappeared before I saw how the story ended. Then Vanessa's angry voice returned. Adrian, can you stop believing stupid rumors? I opened my eyes. I was standing inside our kitchen. Vanessa was alive. So was I. The date on my phone showed the exact morning of our first argument about Damien. I had returned to the beginning. Of course I trust you. Vanessa stood with her arms crossed. You know Damien is Serena's younger brother. I only give him extra attention because she asked me to. In my first life, I had warned her about the curse. I had tried to protect the marriage. I had begged her to stop before a line was crossed. This time, I remembered the motorway barrier breaking beneath my car. I remembered Damien drinking wine in my kitchen. I remembered Vanessa saying the company would remain hers. I lowered my voice. You're right. Vanessa blinked. What? I shouldn't listen to gossip. The anger left her face slowly. I smiled. I know you. Damien is Serena's brother. Of course, there is nothing inappropriate between you. Vanessa studied me. She had prepared for an argument. My trust made her uneasy. That's all. That's all. You're not going to mention that ridiculous curse? No. Or ask me to remove Damien from the company? No. Her shoulders relaxed. We've been together for 10 years, Adrian. You should know how I feel about you. I do. I stepped forward and kissed her forehead. The contact made my skin crawl. I trust you completely. That was the first lie of my second life. Vanessa smiled. She believed she had won. She did not know I had already contacted a private investigator. The affair I pretended not to see. Without my interference, Vanessa and Damien moved faster than they had before. She invited him to expensive client dinners, took him on business trips, booked adjoining hotel rooms that later became one room. They developed private jokes during meetings. Their messages continued late into the night. Damien began looking at me with the confidence of a man who believed he had stolen something without being noticed. I allowed him to believe it. The investigator provided photographs, hotel receipts and recordings obtained legally from public settings. I documented everything, but I did not prepare for divorce. Not yet. In my first life, divorce had warned Vanessa that I could claim part of the company. That warning had led to my death. This time, I wanted her comfortable, careless, certain that her obedient husband would never leave. I also asked the investigator to look into Damien and Serena. What he found was more disturbing than I expected. They were not biological siblings. Damien was the son Serena's stepmother brought into the family. Publicly, Serena introduced him as her younger brother. Privately, their relationship crossed every boundary they claimed to respect. They met secretly, shared hotel rooms, kissed inside underground car parks. More importantly, Serena knew about Damien's relationship with Vanessa. She had arranged it. Vanessa was not the love of Damien's life. She was a target. Reed Atelier had no outside shareholders. Vanessa controlled the company completely. Serena had accumulated significant debt through failed investments. Damien had no stable career and expensive habits. Together, they planned to extract money from Vanessa, enter the company, and eventually take control of its contracts. Damien was sleeping with Vanessa because Serena had placed him beside her. Vanessa believed she was having an exciting affair with a younger man who admired her. In reality, she was financing to people who laughed about her behind closed doors. I could have exposed them immediately. I did not. The curse required a choice. Vanessa had not yet crossed the final line when I returned. She still had opportunities to stop. She could dismiss Damien, tell me the truth, ask for divorce, walk away safely. Instead, every day she chose another lie. The man who wanted me to become jealous. I began spending more time at Reed Atelier. Vanessa became suspicious. Why are you here so often? I've been developing a hotel design proposal. You can work from home. I need access to the material library and project archives. Her eyes narrowed. This isn't about Damien. I looked surprised. Why would it be? You've heard people talking. I already told you I trust you. The answer should have comforted her. Instead, it made her nervous. Vanessa knew she was betraying me. The more completely I trusted her, the more clearly she had to see herself. Damien reacted differently. He wanted me angry. A secret lover remains invisible. Damien did not want to be invisible. He wanted proof that he could affect me. One afternoon, he deliberately collided with me near the office kitchen. His coffee spilled across my shirt. Damien immediately lowered his head. I'm so sorry, Adrian. I didn't see you. His eyes looked frightened. Too frightened, several employees turned toward us. He expected me to lose my temper. Vanessa would arrive. He would become the victim. I smiled. Accidents happen. Damien hesitated. I've ruined your shirt. It can be cleaned. I really didn't mean to. I know. Vanessa appeared at the door. What happened? Before Damien could perform his version, I answered. Damien accidentally walked into me. He apologized. Everything is fine. The employees had witnessed the entire incident. Damien could not change the story. Vanessa looked at him. Be more careful next time. Yes, Ms. Reed. His jaw tightened. Later that day, Vanessa invented a client dinner and left the office with Damien. At the car park, he looked at me with triumph. I pretended not to notice. He believed I was a fool. Fools are rarely considered dangerous. That made the role useful. Several days later, I saw Vanessa supporting Damien near a car. His body leaned against hers. When they noticed me, Vanessa pushed him away. Damien's eyes immediately filled with alarm. Adrian, please don't misunderstand. I twisted my ankle, and Miss Reed caught me. I looked at the ground. He had carefully placed one foot at an angle. Why would I misunderstand? Damien blinked. I only wanted to explain. I saw what happened. Vanessa helped an injured employee. I turned toward her. I would have been disappointed if she left you on the ground. Vanessa relaxed. Damien did not. Every attempt to provoke me failed. Eventually, he approached me privately. People in the office are spreading rumors about Ms. Reed and me. That is unfortunate. There is nothing between us. Of course. She only looks after me because Serena asked her to. I know. If my presence upsets you, I can resign. I placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Don't be ridiculous. Damien stared at me. I trust my wife. I also trust you. His expression became almost painful. He had wanted rage, jealousy, a confrontation that would prove he mattered. Instead, I treated him as harmless. I'll speak to Vanessa, I continued. She should remind the staff not to damage your reputation with baseless gossip. That isn't necessary. I insist. His face tightened. My kindness trapped him more effectively than anger ever could. Serena's performance the next day. Serena arrived at the company during lunch. She made certain several employees could hear. Vanessa, Damien isn't causing problems, is he? Not at all. If he makes mistakes, criticize him. Do not give him special treatment because he is my brother. Vanessa smiled. He's hardworking and eager to learn. The employees exchanged embarrassed looks. The rumors weakened. Everyone believed Vanessa's closeness with Damien came from friendship with Serena. The performance protected the affair, but Serena's reasons for protecting it were very different. Over lunch, she lowered her voice. There is a project I want to invest in. Vanessa immediately became attentive. What kind of project? A private residential development. The return could be excellent, but I'm short of capital. How much? £200,000. Serena hesitated theatrically. I hate asking. You. Don't be ridiculous. We're friends. Vanessa transferred the money that afternoon. The investigator recorded Serena and Damien celebrating later that evening. They had never intended to invest the funds in a legitimate project. Vanessa believed guilt required generosity. Because she was sleeping with Serena's brother, she could not refuse Serena's requests without feeling exposed. The scheme was elegant. Damien seduced her. Serena borrowed from her. Vanessa's own secrets prevented her from questioning either of them. I watched them take money that would eventually belong to Reed Atelier. Then I quietly strengthened my position inside the company. I reviewed contracts, reconnected with clients, documented my investments, registered the intellectual property attached to my designs, updated the company's emergency management plan. With Vanessa's approval, she signed every document without reading carefully. Why would she worry? Her husband trusted her completely. The curse awakens. The first sign was not dramatic. Vanessa lost her appetite. Then she began experiencing persistent stomach pain and unexplained fatigue. She blamed stress. I encouraged her to arrange a medical examination. She refused. I don't have time. You've been unwell 4 weeks. It's gastritis. You don't know that. I know my body. I did not mention the curse. I did not frighten her. I did not prevent her from receiving care. I simply allowed her to make the same kind of choice she had made throughout our marriage. She ignored every warning that inconvenienced her. When the pain became impossible to dismiss, I drove her to a private hospital. The medical team conducted several tests. The diagnosis was devastating. Vanessa had an unusually aggressive, late-stage, gastric cancer. The doctors explained available treatment options carefully. They made no promise of a cure. They recommended immediate specialist care. Vanessa sat completely still. That's impossible. The consultant spoke gently. I understand this is overwhelming. I'm 33. Cancer can affect people at many ages. There must be a mistake. We will repeat the necessary tests and have the case reviewed. The result did not change. Vanessa had forgotten our wedding night conversation, or perhaps she remembered and dismissed it as coincidence. I held her hand. We'll follow the doctor's recommendations. She pulled away. Treatment might only give me more time. More time matters to you, perhaps. She became angry at everyone. Doctors and nurses, employees, me. Fear transformed into cruelty because anger felt more powerful than helplessness. I remained calm. I supported appropriate treatment. I attended consultations. I did not interfere with her medical care. But deep inside, I knew this illness did not behave like an ordinary disease. The curse had awakened, and once awakened, no co-wife had ever escaped it. I took back the company. Vanessa could no longer manage Reed Atelier. Her treatments left her exhausted. Important decisions went unanswered. Clients became nervous. Employees needed leadership. Under the emergency plan Vanessa had signed, temporary operational authority passed to me. The company she had killed me to protect entered my hands without a fight. I called a meeting with the department heads. Vanessa is receiving medical care and will not be handling daily operations. People looked shocked. I continued. Until she is able to return, I will manage the company. No one objected. They knew my designs, my client relationships, my investment. Many of them remembered that Reed Atelier survived its previous crisis because I worked without sleep for nearly a year. My first decision was to dismiss Damien. He entered my office with a smile. You wanted to see me. Your employment ends today. The smile disappeared. For what reason? Repeated professional misconduct, misuse of company expenses, and undeclared conflicts of interest. You can't do this. I already have. Vanessa hired me. Vanessa is not currently managing the company. Damien leaned across the desk. You have no idea who I am to her. I know exactly who you are. His face changed. I placed several expense reports in front of him. These charges were not authorized. They were client expenses. The clients were in different cities. He stared at the papers. You've been investigating me. I've been protecting the company. Damien's fear became anger. I'm Vanessa's partner. I allowed silence to fill the room. Then I asked, business partner, you know what I mean. Say it clearly. His pride overwhelmed his caution. Vanessa and I have been together 4 months. He expected rage. I nodded. Thank you for confirming it. Damien stepped back. What? My solicitor will appreciate the clarity. His confidence vanished. I continued. I also know Serena is not your biological sister. His face became pale. And I know your relationship with her did not end when you began sleeping with my wife. You're lying. I know she placed you inside this company. Damien's breathing changed. I know the investment project was invented. You can't prove any of that. I don't need to prove it to you. I stood. You have 10 minutes to collect your personal belongings. Security will accompany you. He left my office without another word. Before departing the building, Damien tried calling Vanessa repeatedly. She did not answer. The exciting young man who once made her risk everything had become an inconvenience during the moment she feared death. That was when Damien finally realized he had never been as important as he imagined. I gave Serena's husband the truth. Serena had a husband named Marcus Shaw. He was a successful property consultant who believed Damien was simply the troubled stepson his wife felt obligated to support. Marcus and I had met at dinners, but rarely spoke privately. I sent him the evidence, photographs, financial records, public location recordings, proof of Serena's secret relationship with Damien, proof of the false investment, proof that Serena had knowingly placed Damien beside Vanessa. Marcus called within minutes. Is this real? Yes. How did you find it? I investigated my wife's affair. Silence followed. Then Marcus asked, does Vanessa know? Not yet. What are you planning? To protect Reed Atelier and Serena. That belongs to you. His voice became cold. Thank you for telling me. Within days, Marcus froze joint accounts, contacted a solicitor and began divorce proceedings. Serena's plan was collapsing from both directions. She had expected to take money from Vanessa and return safely to her own marriage. Instead, she was about to lose both. My wife finally confessed. Vanessa looked smaller every time I visited the hospital. The treatments were difficult. Her face had lost color. Her confidence was gone. One afternoon, I sat beside her bed and said, Damien came to see me. Her eyes moved toward me. What did he say? He told me, you have been together 4 months. Vanessa's fingers tightened around the blanket. I waited. At first, she looked ready to deny it. Then fear changed her strategy. Tears appeared. Adrian, I made a mistake. One mistake. I was lonely. I lived in the same house. You were always working. I was working for your company. It was my mother's company, and I helped save it. She closed her eyes. I know. Did you love him? No. The answer came too quickly. You risked our marriage for someone you did not love. I was confused. You traveled with him. I know. You stayed in his apartment. I know. You gave him access to company information. I never intended to hurt you. I looked at her for a long time. In my first life, I would have been furious. I had already lived through the anger. Already felt my car falling through open air. Now, there was only cold clarity. I knew from the beginning. Vanessa opened her eyes. What? The first time I questioned your relationship, I hired an investigator. Her shock became outrage. You investigated me. You were lying to me. How dare you invade my privacy? I almost laughed, even while confessing betrayal. Vanessa needed me to become the offender. You should be more interested in what else I discovered. I placed a folder on the bed. The first photograph showed Serena and Damien kissing inside a car. Vanessa stared at it. Her face became empty. That isn't real. It is. They're siblings. They are not related by blood. Vanessa picked up the next photograph. Serena entering Damien's apartment at night. Damien holding her waist. Bank records connected to the money Vanessa had transferred. Messages describing Vanessa as an easy source of capital. The woman who had deceived me could not tolerate discovering she had also been deceived. They used me. Yes. Damien said he loved me. He told Serena that you were becoming emotionally dependent. Vanessa's breathing accelerated. She was my best friend. She selected you. No. Damien did not enter the company because Serena wanted you to help his career. I kept my voice calm. He entered because they wanted your company. Vanessa made a broken sound. Then she vomited blood and lost consciousness. Doctors entered immediately. I stepped outside and allowed the medical team to work. When Vanessa regained consciousness, something inside her had changed. She looked at me as though she had seen a ghost. Why are you alive? I became still. What did you say? Her eyes filled with terror. The bridge. She pressed both hands against her head. Your car went through the barrier. The memories had returned. Perhaps the shock triggered them. Perhaps the curse carried more than illness. Vanessa remembered our first life. She remembered arranging my death. Why didn't you warn me? Vanessa stared at me from the hospital bed. You died. Yes. I woke up afterward. So did I. Her confusion turned to horror. You remembered from the beginning. Yes. And you let me continue with Damien. I did not make you continue. You knew about the curse. I warned you in the first life. You should have warned me again. Her voice echoed through the room. A nurse entered. Vanessa insisted everything was fine until we were alone again. Then she looked at me with hatred. How could you watch this happen? I looked at the woman who had arranged my death. How could you cut my brakes? Her face became pale. I was afraid of losing the company. It was my mother's legacy. I saved it. You wanted part of it. I wanted the portion I legally earned. You were going to take everything from me. No, you didn't understand what the company meant, and you didn't understand what my life meant. Vanessa began crying. I panicked. You planned it. I wasn't thinking clearly. You contacted someone, arranged the sabotage, and waited for me to die. I regretted it. You moved Damien into our home. Her mouth opened. No words came. I continued. In the first life, I reminded you about the curse. You said it like a threat. I asked for divorce before your affair went further. I thought you wanted my company, and because you did not want to share property, you murdered me. Vanessa looked away. If you had warned me again, I would have stopped. No, yes, I would. You had every reason to stop without believing in magic. I didn't know Damien was using me. You knew you were lying to your husband. She flinched. You knew you were betraying a 10-year relationship. I made a mistake. You made the same choice repeatedly. Vanessa's fear overwhelmed her anger. There must be a solution. There isn't. It is your family's curse. That does not mean I control it. You told me divorce could prevent it. Before the betrayal. Then divorce me now. It has already awakened. Her hands trembled. If you help me, I'll sign anything. I said nothing. You can have half the company. Silence. All right. More than half. I watch desperation replace pride. You can control Reed Atelier. I'll transfer the property. Just find a way to stop this. The curse cannot be reversed. You're lying. I'm not. You want me to die? I wanted you not to murder me. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Adrian, you're alive now. So that erases what you did. We were given another chance. I was given another chance. Her fingers closed around empty air. You used yours to repeat the betrayal. She began crying harder. I was manipulated by Damien. Yes. But Damien did not make you lie. No. Serena did not make you enter his apartment. No. They did not make you arrange my death in the first life. Vanessa closed her eyes. I leaned closer. You keep searching for the person who forced you to become who you are. My voice remained quiet. There isn't one. The company she killed me to keep. Vanessa's condition deteriorated rapidly. The medical team continued appropriate care. She received pain management and specialist support. But the illness moved with a speed no ordinary explanation could fully account for. She repeatedly asked doctors whether I had caused it. They believed fear and medication were affecting her thinking. From a medical perspective, there was no mechanism by which her husband could cause the disease she had developed. They did not know about the curse. Vanessa tried to contact Serena. Marcus had already begun exposing the truth. Serena's professional reputation collapsed. The false investment was investigated. Her family withdrew financial support. Damien lost his job, Vanessa's protection, and Serena's money almost simultaneously. He blamed Serena. Serena blamed him. The Grand Alliance that had targeted Reed Atelier disintegrated the moment there was no longer a wealthy woman available to exploit. Vanessa watched everything from a hospital bed. The younger lover she defended did not visit her. The best friend she trusted did not answer her calls. The employees she had mistreated sent formal messages instead of flowers. Only I remained, not as a devoted husband, as the legal representative safeguarding the company and ensuring her treatment decisions were properly documented. One night, Vanessa whispered, "Did you ever love me?" The question surprised me. For 10 years. Do you still? No. Her eyes closed. When did it end? On the motorway. I was afraid of losing everything. You lost everything because you were willing to kill someone to keep it. She opened her eyes again. What will happen to Reed Atelier? I will continue operating it. So you win. This was never a game. You get the company. I already earned part of it. And when I die, as your spouse, I am the primary beneficiary, under the documents you created. Vanessa gave a bitter laugh. I killed you to prevent that. Yes. And now you'll receive all of it. Yes. She stared at the ceiling. Is that the curse too? No. I stood. That is consequence. The final bargain. During Vanessa's final days, she stopped, pretending she could defeat the illness. She asked me to sit beside her. I'll confess. To what? The car. I looked at her. I'll write everything down. Why? Because I need you to forgive me. Confession is not a purchase. I know. Do you? She began crying. I don't want to die knowing you hate me. I don't hate you anymore. Hope entered her expression. Then I continued. Hate requires more connection than I still have. Her face collapsed. Adrian, please. I will make sure you receive appropriate care. That isn't what I'm asking. I know. Can we begin again? No, we already did. Yes. And you made the same choice. Vanessa looked toward the window. Morning light entered through the blinds. I thought you were weak. I was loyal. I thought you would never leave. I tried. I thought the company proved I had succeeded. You confused possession with safety. She turned toward me. If I had agreed to divorce in the first life, would you have saved me? You would not have needed saving. If I had told you about Damien before anything happened, I would have been hurt. Would you have forgiven me? I don't know. At least we might have remained alive. Yes. Vanessa closed her eyes. The curse had always offered an exit. Tell the truth. End the marriage. Choose another life openly. She had refused because honesty might cost her money. In the end, dishonesty cost her everything. Vanessa died before 6 months had passed. There was no dramatic final speech, no miraculous forgiveness, only a quiet hospital room and the fading sound of medical equipment. I stood beside the window until a nurse touched my arm and told me it was over. For the first time in 2 lives, Vanessa could no longer lie to me, and I no longer needed her to tell the truth. I took back what was mine. Vanessa left no children. Her mother was gone. Under her existing estate documents, I inherited controlling ownership of Reed Atelier and the majority of her remaining personal assets. I did not celebrate her death. I did not hold a party. I did not tell employees that justice had been served. Death is not a victory, but survival can be. I renamed the company Cole & Reed Design. Margaret Reed's name remained in the firm's history because she had built something real. Vanessa's contributions remained too. I did not need to erase anyone to acknowledge what I had created. I promoted the employees who had remained loyal during the crisis, returned money to clients harmed by Serena's false investment proposal, established stronger financial controls, expanded into European hospitality projects. For the first time, my work carried my own name. Marcus divorced Serena. The evidence surrounding Serena and Damien became public during legal proceedings. Their reputation disappeared. Damien attempted to claim that Serena had manipulated him. Serena claimed Damien had seduced her. Neither accepted responsibility. Without Vanessa's money, their relationship ended. They had mistaken conspiracy for loyalty. Once the reward vanished, so did the affection. A year later, I stood inside the completed lobby of a hotel Reed Atelier had nearly lost during Vanessa's illness. The ceiling was built from curved timber panels. Morning light moved through glass walls. Guests crossed the stone floor beneath the design I had drawn during the worst months of my first life. My father joined me. He knew nothing about reincarnation. I had told him only that Vanessa's marriage and business decisions had been more complicated than anyone realized. He placed a hand on my shoulder. You finally built something for yourself. I looked around the lobby. No, he raised an eyebrow. I finally stopped giving everything away. 4 years, I believed loyalty meant enduring pain until the other person returned to who they used to be. It does not. Love cannot repair someone who considers honesty optional. Trust cannot survive when it is demanded as protection from accountability, and forgiveness is not a debt owed to anyone who regrets the consequences more than the harm. In my first life, I tried to save Vanessa from a curse. She treated my warning as control. I offered divorce. She answered by taking my life. In my second life, I did not push her toward betrayal. I did not prevent medical care. I did not create Damien, Serena, or the lies that connected them. I simply stopped standing between Vanessa and the choices she insisted on making. That was enough. She walked toward the same ending, without my hand guiding her back. Some people do not hate warnings because the warning is false. They hate warnings because listening would require them to stop doing what they already decided to do. Vanessa believed she could keep her husband, her lover, her company, and her reputation. She believed every person around her could be managed. Her husband would remain obedient. Her lover would remain secret. Her friend would remain loyal. Her lies would remain invisible. She was wrong about all of them. I did not win because she died. I won because, when life returned me to the moment before everything collapsed, I finally understood what belonged to me: my work, my dignity, my future, my life. And this time, I refused to let anyone take them away. This story is entirely fictional and created for entertainment purposes. The supernatural curse, characters and events are invented. The story does not encourage revenge, withholding medical care, harassment, sabotage, violence, or interfering with another person's treatment. Anyone experiencing relationship abuse, threats, serious illness, or a mental health crisis should seek help from trusted people, qualified professionals, or local emergency services.